Today is September 27th, 2023, and I've been reading this translation of the Bible that has all the Hebrew names and then their meanings right after it in parentheses. And it's been a really interesting way of reading because there's often another layer of understanding when you know the meanings of these names. So I'll give you an example. Today I was reading the book of Esther. And in the book of Esther, there's these two characters, Mordecai and Haman. Mordecai is this Jewish man who's, just humble and lowly. And then Haman is a servant of the king. And Haman demands worship from everyone, and Mordecai refuses to do that because he knows that worship is only directed towards God. That's how it's supposed to be. And so what happens is, in the story, Haman gets really jealous and just really tries to set traps for Mordecai and the Jewish people, and he tries to have the Jewish people destroyed and Mordecai hung on the gallows. And Mordecai knows Queen Esther, and there's this whole thing that happens, and she intercedes, and they flip things around, and the king rewards Mordecai, and he has Haman hung on the gallows that he had made for Mordecai. So it's this inversion of, the humble, lowly person getting exalted and the person in a very high position being humbled. And that's kind of the moral of that story, at least one of them. And what's interesting is when you know the Hebrew names, Haman means magnificent, and Mordecai means little man. So you can see how there's actually another layer when you know the meanings of the Hebrew names. And so it's showing in a more emphatic way what's happening. The little man, the man who's small and humble, is being exalted, and the magnificent one is being brought down. And this is talked about in other parts of Scripture too. This story just illustrates that lesson, but all over Scripture it says that humble yourself and you will be exalted, and the proud will be brought low, and pride comes before a fall. And so we have to be aware of that interplay in God's economy, because God sees our hearts and he doesn't look on outward appearances. He exalts the lowly and the humble, and he brings low the proud. And so I thought that was just a cool little nugget that I got because of knowing the meanings of these Hebrew names as I was reading Esther today. So it's kind of a cool way to gain some more insight into Scripture. And that's all I've got for today. Peace.